Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. So in today's video, we will be going to cover the last deployment strategy, which is Canary deployment. And this is one of the amazing deployment strategy. And if you're using tooling update strategy, so that is a simple and default one strategy. But when you are using the blue-green deployment, so 99% you are not going to use it, or neither you are going to recommend that blue-green deployment until or unless the production or your application is too way critical that can cause business loss. So in the previous video, I might not have mentioned a lot of things about blue-green deployment, but the reason is that very rare organizations prefer those kind of deployment strategy, and the very effective deployment strategy that we are going to talk about today is Canary deployment. And there are very lot of confusions about Canary deployment. It is not the same as blue green deployment, but there are very few similarities there. Like you have to replicate something, it would be a very basic file that we have to recreate it, or we have to just make a clone of it, so we can do something and we can just tweak and twist the things, and we can have zero downtime for our applications while upgrading the application. So yep, I'll be going to talk about that Canary deployment. So if I talk about the definition term, so Canary deployment means releasing a new version. And as I've told you, whenever we used to deploy our new version of our application, so in Canary, we have a aim that we are deploying our new release to a small percentage of users first, that we want to test in real traffic. And once things will be going fine or working fine, then we will increase the percentage, like it can be 5% or 2%, and then gradually we will increase the traffic for the new version of our application, and it will be going to end up by 100%. So that is the thing. Now if I talk about why do we use Canary deployment, so the basic thing is that we always try to avoid breaking production. If you're using Canary deployment, and if we have released our new updates or new features for the application, and that is only served to 5% of the people, so it's fine because we can bear the business loss for 5%. But if it would be 100%, so it won't be good for us. So that's the first reason. And then we are testing it in the real production issues, not we are not testing it in UAT or other lower environments. So we are testing in the production environment. So if something breaks, so that's break, that means that yeah, there is some issues with our application or with our some infra side. So it can be anything. So that's where we can get the reality check instead of getting the things from UAT or other lower environment. Also, it helps us to detect the bugs, infrastructure related issues. It can have any kind of issues in your application. So these kind of things we can detect in the real infra itself. And in the end, that once you are pretty confident or 100% confident, so you can route the traffic of your new updated application for the 100% users. So that's the reasons why we should go with the Canary deployment. But now we have to understand how it works. So the first thing, again, I would like to explain you from blue green. That's why I have chosen to explain, or show I've created the video for blue green first. So the things would be similar that we have to understand. So what I will just copy this entire thing. So this time you don't have to see blue, green deployment, anything. So again, this is the version 1 of our application. Then we have the version 2. Now here the main thing is that here we will have the two services for each deployment. So what I'll do, I'll just do it here, and I'll just copy this one here so I can get it here. So we will have two deployments and two services for each of the deployments. Then we will have the next thing, that is ingress. Now we have to play with the ingress here, that we will have the one more ingress, and that will help us to route the traffic according to the requirements, whatever, like 5% we want to route to the version 2, and the rest 95% will serve the traffic for the version 1. So I will connect the dot if I have to do it. So I'll just do it here, and then it will forward the request to the service. So maybe the things are looking a little messy, but I'll show you that there would be two ingress, the ingress 1, then ingress 2. So from here, from the user, things will be look as it is, and there won't be any changes. But the thing that we will have one load balancer, but the ingress will handle the traffic. So you will see that when we have deployed version 1, which will serving a blue application, like the application will remain same, the version is changed. So we will have two different ingresses, and the first ingress will route the traffic to the version 1, and the next ingress that we have will serve the traffic for the green. So both version will be running, and also we are providing the content of our application with both version to every user. But the point is that we are just playing with the numbers. Let's suppose I have 100 people accessing our applications. So I'll keep it that okay, only 5% people should access my application for version 2, so I can check if there is any issues or not. If there won't be any issues, so I'll directly increase the number for the version 2. So version 2 will have more visitors, so we can switch to the version 2 gradually. So this is it that we have to do. But if something goes wrong, so we can directly roll back instantly. And with the help of that, we can just do it via ingress. And how we will be going to do, so I'll show you that like with the help of one annotation that we will be going to achieve it. So let's directly jump onto the hands-on as usual. So again, I am on my killer coda. So first again, I'll check the nodes first, and yes. So as usual, I have the content. So this time we will have service for every deployment, and we will have two deployment and two service. So that's why I'll be going to just create it in one go. So this is the application, and this is the application name is production. Okay, so you have to understand the name. You just have to remember the application because we are going to print something in our container. So we will be able to understand that okay, which pod is serving the content or serving the content of from which pod. So that's kind of things we can do. So this is the service, and this is a label production, and this is about deployment 1 and service 1. Now I'll just get it the service 2 and deployment 2 as well. So the same thing we have, and this time we have the name is Canary. So the first deployment has the name is production, and the second one has Canary. And that after that, it will be going to have the same thing, like there won't be any changes apart from the name. So first we will be going to do this, apply this. So I'll just copy this and paste this. And now I will just list the all things. So we can see that the container is creating for production deployment. Then we have the service name production. So I'll just again check once more. So our application is running. Now I will do this, and this time we will have this. So if I just check the kubectl get pods, so we have two applications running. So this is it, like our workload is running, but now we need ingress. And as we know that to get the ingress, we have to install the ingress or configure the ingress. So we already have one ingress, that is Nginx ingress, and that is going to deprecate it within next month. Like there is no maintainer, there is no updates coming up for the security related and other enhancements. So there are multiple ingresses available in the market like gateway APIs, Kong, traffic. But currently, I'll be going to keep it simple, and I'll be going to use ingress Nginx itself because I just want you to show the things. So the same thing you can do it with other ingress controller as well. So there is no big difference. So we will be going to configure that. So I'll be going to configure the ingress Nginx. So for that, here is the command, that is we are just applying the manifest for this ingress Nginx. And as soon as I'll do this, so there would be multiple resources updating. And now I would like to check the resources for this. So I will write kubectl pods get pod, and the name of this is pod, and the pod is getting created. Also, let's see all the resources in one go. And we can see it is in the running state, like it's coming up. It takes some time. Then we have the service name Nginx ingress controller, and this is the port. So with the help of this port, we will be going to access our application. So for that, we have to create the ingress file or our own ingress resource. So first of all, copy this so I can use it to curl. And also let's check whether the application is running or not. So yes, the ingress controller is running, like pod is running. So first of all, I'll just copy this. So now I have the ingress file. So let's understand the ingress file one by one. So this is the ingress, and resource name is production. So this is ingress file for production only, which is you can say version 1. Then we have the class name is Nginx. Then we have the host. So I'm just keeping it. The host name is prod.mydomain.com. Then we have the path, and in that path we are serving that production application. So that is it. And if I just go to the next, so that. So this is the second ingress, and in that we are pointing to the Canary deployment related services or resources. So this is the name is Canary. Then we have the same thing here, you can see, but there is one thing, that is annotations. Now the first thing that we are mentioning here is that nginx.ingress.kubernetes.io/canary. So this is the thing that you're telling that, I want to have the deployment strategy as Canary, and Canary works on ingress level. It's not works on deployment level like rolling update. So that's why we are giving the flag true to enable the Canary deployment. But once you will enable it, you have to also specify the weight. So like this is the ingress you're using, but the traffic, can you tell me what exactly how much traffic you want to forward to this ingress? So currently I'm keeping it 20%. So it will just give me like if I would have the pods. So let's see the number of pods. So currently the replicas is 1. So you can say that at every 10 times there would be 2 requests comes from the version 2 or Canary deployments, and out of 10 there 8 would be from version 1 or production deployments. So this is the thing that we are doing. So I'll just copy this and apply the thing, and let's check the ingress first. And here we can see, and I'll just, as I've told you, that I have copied that node port. So I'll just try to get the command, and let's try to access the application. This is the command that we are doing, and we are providing the host that is we have already added in our ingress. And this is the application running on 32599, because we are hitting that directly to the ingress, not the pod. Then we will getting the host name only. So with the help of host name, we will be able to understand that okay, which pod is there. So I will do it, and now we can see that host name is production. Now as we can see that currently we did not create any other ingress apart from production. So like what I'll do, I'll just open one more tab, and this will be going to run as it is. So like it will be going for the production right now. And what we will do, we will just apply this, and as soon as I'll do this, you will see that it will start serving the content from Canary as well. And you can see that from here that it is providing the content from Canary. Then this is Canary, but make sure that the weightage would be same, like only 2 requests will come out of 10 from Canary only. So you can also calculate from somewhere here, and you will find only 2. But if I just increase it, let's suppose the application is running fine, and if I just do one thing, okay, first again let's check the ingress, and let's edit the ingress for Canary. Okay, you edit Canary, and here is the weightage. You can see this one, and I will update it from 20 to 50, and then we will see that there would be multiple traffic coming for this. So currently you can see Canary is very less visible, and as soon as I'll do, so this is edited, and if I go to the tab 1, now we can see Canary will be see often or frequently. So you can see that production, and then you will see Canary. That's how things. Now again, now you're too much confident that okay, 50% of the traffic is coming to the Canary and it's working fine. So why don't we keep it 100%? So for that, I'll just go to the again annotation, and I'll edit this and keep it 100. And as soon as I do it, so now you can see that there would be 100% traffic go to the Canary deployment only, or Canary resources only. And now you can't see any production related things. So yeah, that is it about this Canary deployment. It is one of the effective deployment strategy compared to blue green. I know like blue green also comes with the same thing, that you will have to create multiple replicas, same environment you have to create it. But you should go with Canary deployment, because the reason is that you will get to know the real traffic. Like you will be going to have the real traffic, but yeah, the number would be less. But with the help of those minimum numbers, like 5% traffic, you are forwarding to the version 2 of your application. So this way you can evaluate that your application is working or not. At the end, you will get the real user validation, and also Rollback is very easy, so you don't have to worry about the rollback. If something goes wrong, you have the annotations. With the help of annotation, you can update the weightage, you can reduce the weightage, or you can just remove the weightage at all. But the more the things comes, the more the complexity also comes with those things. So if you're going to implement these kind of things, so you need more monitoring things. Like you need to judge a lot of things. So whenever you're using Canary deployment, you will have the lot of overhead to monitor these kind of things, because you will have same replica, same application, but different version with different deployments. So you have to take care of all those things. You will have to trace the request for both deployment, and it is not ideal for DB schema breaking changes, because obviously when you will have two databases for two deployments, so how will you be going to perform the sync operations? So that is also one of the issues. So it's not good for stateful applications. Like majority of the time, it is these kind of deployment strategies used for stateless applications only. So I hope you understand what are the pros and cons of these deployment strategies. And this is done for a very small series of Kubernetes deployment strategies. I know it's not a series. I just try to split the video so you would be able to understand things properly. Otherwise, it would become heavy for you to do the hands-on for all three. And the reason is that a lot of people confused in between of Canary deployment and blue-green deployment. So that is also the main reason I've kept the videos dedicated for every deployment strategies. And in rolling update, again, you have to play with max unavailable and max surge. So I hope you understand the deployment strategies. So whenever an interviewer is asking about the deployment strategies, so at least you should be able to, explain the things that, okay, these kind of things there are. And also we have covered the hands-on. So this is also gives you a picture how things works behind production door. So that is it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Have a good day.